Hey there, comic friends. I'm Travis.
And I'm the disembodied voice.
And this is
Monster Comic Review.
That's right. Not too monstrous, and going to get even less monstrous as this month goes on, and next month, because of course with the convergence, less DC, well, no DC books,
Right.
Basically. So yeah, and we'll talk a little about some of the Marvel books we got here. They don't have much longer to go, and they're going to be done, and it's all going to be changing over to Secret Wars titles or things that tie into the whole Secret Wars thing, and I'm not buying into that either. So we'll see what our superhero books are like.
Right, with our no event.
Not for me. If you want to buy events, you
participation,
can
I have no desire.
go right ahead. So first up, we're going to talk about Loki, Agent of Asgard, issue number 13, which takes off last issue. Basically, it seemed our hero was pretty down in the sense that
Yes.
he's the god of lies. He can't be anything else, and old man Loki has this thing all squared away, and
Right, he's
it's just all
completely
bad.
destroyed Midgard, and he's
in the
things
future, right?
are, yeah, things are terrible.
Right.
And
So in this one, old man Loki blathers on some more, and it seems that our middle-aged Loki figures out a way to weasel himself out from under where he's at. He ends up going into the nether realms, this kind of in-between place where Kid Loki is, and the Loki that he was supposed to be are both at, and has a conversation with them, and kind of works himself back into existence.
you can't see me nodding, but yes, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I like what he changed the Prince of Lies into. His redefinition of lies, I thought, really has a lot to. It makes everything kind of feel better for him, and this particular, newish, remade Loki that comes out on the other side. I'm really glad to see Verity in this. So I'm looking forward to see. That was kind of feels like a turning point in the book, and I want to see what happens next.
Well, it definitely is, because the next issue starts to tie into the Secret Wars for Loki. It becomes Loki: The End of Days, is what it's retitled as it tells the next part of the story. I like, they define what is a lie, what are lies,
Exactly.
and so it kind of changes his godhood status in that. Comes back as somebody a little bit different.
Yes.
Somewhat unrecognizable. It's yet another. He reincarnates himself as another Loki. The things that frustrate me about the book, there were a couple things. As much as I loved last issue, right? I said last issue was probably my favorite comic I've read all year.
Right, I remember that.
I really enjoyed this one. I enjoy this character. I enjoy the writing. But what really frustrates me is you got all this great artwork in here and whatnot, and you get to this, what you consider the last page, right? Because if the title's not at the beginning, the title's at the end, right? And you got your credits here and everything,
Right.
and you read that and you go, oh, that's the end. Okay, that's kind of interesting. You flip the page over, and there's this epilogue with Verity, and you're like going, okay, so that's the epilogue. You read that, and there's an advertisement on this side, and the comic's over, right?
Right, you're done.
I need to ask Ethan if he actually read these last pages, because Ethan's notorious for thinking he's at the end and then not reading
Right, it's
past
all
it.
bad.
And I'm like, well, maybe there's a letters page. I'll look at the letters page. Oh, there's another ad, but there's another page.
Yes, I can see how that.
Then you flip it over, and then there's the letters page. But
Yeah, I always go to the end of the comic.
well, I generally do too. But after reading where that title page is at, I was done.
A bizarre place to
The
put
way
that.
those were broken, and it's like I said, those two pages are broken there and whatnot. It's just really.
And I don't know about why you need an epilogue versus. Why does that have to be an epilogue?
I'm thinking that they went with an epilogue because you got 8 months passing, and then maybe they couldn't fit 30 lines of text into.
Sure.
They wanted
understand.
these panels to be impactful.
And they only had 2-3 pages.
And you only had so much space left.
Sure, I suppose that makes sense.
But it basically tells about Verity stewing. That's what it does, really. So yeah, I didn't really care for that a whole lot. So that part of it, that aspect of it, but still really liking Loki.
Yeah.
Great character. Kind of, I'm excited to see what this new the
Me
next
too.
Loki is
Me too.
and how he's gonna play into things. It'll be interesting because, of course, now he's gonna have a different relationship with Verdi than he had before, because he doesn't really remember her.
No.
I know I'm supposed to be friends with
Yeah,
you.
it's like, hi, I know I'm your friend, you're Verity, and you know, but I think that they'll find their way. I mean, obviously, she looked pretty surprised, but
Well, 8 months.
exactly,
8 months
since he's gone,
of him being gone. His room, his apartment
disappeared,
doesn't
exactly.
exist. It
Because
actually
he
drops out of
doesn't
existence.
exist.
Right.
So that's kind of cool.
Right.
Actually.
So it all drops out of existence. So, yeah. Are you rating them?
Sure. Are we doing five?
Yeah.
Out of 5.
Well, yeah. If you do more than that, then it gets.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
We'll do
too
50
much.
out of.
It's out of.
And I give it a.
7,000.
I give it a. Out of 50, I give it a
Yeah, 22.
37 and a half, because of course I have to put a half in it anyway.
All right. Speaking of halves, I give it a. Well, no, I'll give it a 4. I give it a 4.
I give it a 4 also.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying the
I
end
can't
of
give
the
it a 3.5. Just
I'm
because
enjoying the end of
was
the.
annoying to me,
I'm enjoying the end of this storyline and excited
Yeah.
to see what's next. I'm
And
glad they chose to do the end of day stuff, because a lot of these titles had a choice. They could either do the end of day thing or they could just be done. And we don't know what titles are coming back after the whole Secret Wars and all the Battle World and all that stuff
Right.
is done. So I'm glad that it's going to be around. So, speaking of another one of those that's going to change next
Exactly.
issue is Magneto issue number 17.
Okay.
So
go ahead.
We're on the island of Ganache.
I don't even remember what it's called.
Right, it starts with a G. You
Is it Ganesh?
Ganesh?
Is it Ganesh?
Something like that, yeah.
I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't really look.
No,
at it.
you're
But-
better than me.
So we're on the former mutant savior.
Well, it's his
island
place.
from
It's been his island before,
Yeah.
and
And
failed horribly.
here we go again, and things are not looking so good. As far as whether or not it's going to fail horribly, because
well, there's a
people are
serial
dying
killer.
and
There's a serial killer on
somebody
the
told them
island.
to keep the furnace burning. I mean, that's pretty.
Right.
We can talk about last issue without spoiling anything, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And I was a little worried because it was in their bedroom. I was the tiniest bit worried that it was the redheaded Briar, right? The girlfriend.
His girlfriend. Yeah.
And I was delighted that it was not. That is the only spoiler I will say. It wasn't her. Yay. So I was happy about that. How it turned out was kind of interesting. What turned out to be the murderer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, it keeps pointing towards this guy that you see on the cover, his old foe.
A Nazi.
But that guy would be either dead or 1,000,000 years old, and he remembers killing him once before. So, what the heck? How did that happen? And so finding out how that happened, how that person is once again, back, that was interesting.
What about the resolve for that?
That's sad. But I appreciate the fact that the person who was innocently involved felt that the only end was the end that he chose.
There were 2 ends. She presented 2 ends.
Yeah, that's true. But she took him away from it because she had a feeling which end he would choose.
Well, of course he's not going to choose himself.
And it's interesting that it didn't even occur to him.
Yeah.
It didn't occur to him.
Right.
And it wouldn't, would it? I mean, seriously, if it were you, would it occur to you? I could remove myself from the situation forever?
But he's not really the problem, though. What they took care of was the root problem.
Yeah.
Because even if he's gone, that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that something else wouldn't take
That's
its place.
true. Something else very, very possibly could and would. So that's true. Anyway, vague.
As we're trying really hard not to spoil
I was
things.
told not to spoil.
We're trying really hard not to spoil stuff.
But anyway, I like this book. For a while, I didn't like it as much. It felt like it lost its way for a little bit with the Red Skull guy. For me, anyway.
that time, yeah.
That I don't know why. it just seemed to go on for.
I liked the first issue that was a tie-in with the Red Skull because it had more to do with the Nazis and that whole part of his history and his past.
Oh yeah, that
That
part was good.
it was like the
Looking at
last
his childhood
one.
and his
It was like the last
youth.
one where well, it's like the middle one because I like the last one too, where he gathered up all the villains and they went and did what needed to be done, and then he still gets looked at as being a villain, playing into
Right.
the thing I like a lot. Yeah, I guess I'm enjoying it. I think it's been great. Columns. I think as a whole, the events haven't thrown it off and whatnot. So I'm hoping
That is a
I'm
plus.
hoping that Cullen has a story to tell that he can tie into with the.
I trust him. I trust him because of his other writing.
Yeah, I suppose.
So I mean, he has a plan for Six Guns. I'm hoping
Well, whatever.
that he has a plan for this.
But he also wrote the Defenders Fear Itself tie-in that I paid. Yeah, you didn't read it because it was one of those ones you went, oh, what's this like? And I went, ugh. And so nobody read it except for me. It was not great.
Okay.
So
I'm slowly starting to familiarize myself with the authors and the illustrators that do the books that we read. I, for the longest time, didn't really, I paid attention to like Warren Ellis and Gail Simone, but I didn't always pay attention to all of the authors. And so now that I am, had I noticed that, I would have read it anyway.
okay,
Okay, I'm done.
I'll give it a 3.
Me too.
Ms. Marvel, issue number 14. This is part 2 of a 3-part story arc.
Yep.
Love that cover. That cover is just
Is awesome.
incredible cover.
Yes, I do too. I love the fact
we
that
get-
you guys call him
we get more of the boy
Yes.
in this issue,
that.
who is Toothpaste Gambit.
Yes, Travis and Ethan have named him. They named him Toothpaste Boy, and then
Me and Ethan talking about it,
Ethan
realized
was
that his
talking about him,
powers
and
are
he's
very
like, his
Gambit
powers
like.
are like Gambit, and he's like, "You're just a toothpaste-headed Gambit." So that's what they call him. And
Yeah.
I didn't really think about his head looking like toothpaste.
He looks
but
like
it,
gel.
but it really does
Yeah,
look
gel
like
toothpaste.
gel toothpaste. So Toothpaste Boy.
Yeah, anyway.
And not to, I'm gonna be a little spoiler.
Oh, okay, whatever.
We knew he was trouble.
Yeah,
'Cause
clearly.
he's the perfect boy.
Clearly.
Mommy and Daddy love him, love his family, can't wait for them to meet it up again, and he's so sweet, and I'm an Inhuman too, and
Yeah.
Pachoo, things go downhill from there. I love this book. I have loved this book. I am pretty sure I'm going to continue to love this book, and I cannot wait for it to come out in trade, because we are going to buy it for Chloe, our daughter, who is 14, and will love it.
She could just read the singles.
She could read the singles, so that means pulling them all out of the boxes, and then, I think we'll just buy it for her in trade. You know how she rereads things like 7 million times.
That's true. She'd
So if
she'd
she
wear my
loves
comic
it,
out.
she will, yes, exactly.
Good-
She
good
will
point.
kill it. So, but anyway, I love this book. This is how to write a book for a young adult, in my opinion.
I didn't care for this issue.
I don't love this issue either, but I love
'Cause
this
I wanna
book
talk
in
about this
general.
issue.
All right, fine, shut it. I'll shut it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it was to me. It was pretty. I mean, it just seemed pretty stereotypical. I mean, he's the but he really wasn't. That he's the bad guy. There's some, I mean, it gets down to the whole, up on the rooftop, romantic, the stars, and the almost kiss that's interrupted. Whatever. The one part I thought was interesting in this is their choice to address the thinly veiled racism of her family and family's expectations for her to marry a Pakistani person, because Bruno, her best friend, is in love with her.
He has been in love with her for
She
some
isn't
time.
interested. She isn't interested in him at this point, it seems. But Bruno definitely is worried about this new guy, and he has this conversation with Camilla's brother. And the conversation is basically, look, we love you. You're like part of the family. You're the white kid that we never had. that we, you're
Right, the
awesome.
white son that we never had.
Right,
We
you're
think you're amazing.
You're awesome, but
you can't marry our
because our
Kamala.
expectation is that Kamala is going to. This is what the son saying, not the parents. Parents have never said that, but he is saying, well, we don't know for sure.
Okay.
We don't know for sure, and there could be a surprise to come if that conversation never comes up. So, but the brother's saying this is what he figures the expectation is from the family. That she's going to pass on the strong Pakistani values and cultural things and all that. And that can't happen if you marry outside of your ethnicity.
Right.
It's not going to happen. So you don't stand a chance, buddy.
And even if Bruno were to convert and become a Muslim,
He's not Pakistani.
exactly. That's what I was saying. He's
Yeah.
still
Matter
a white
of
boy.
fact, he'd have a better chance if he was a agnostic Pakistani. He'd have better chances then.
I'm pretty sure that they're also very interested in her marrying inside her faith as well.
I would not bet on that. I mean,
Really?
initially I think that's going to be the case, but I'm willing to bet.
If they had to choose,
I'm
between
willing to
the-
bet the kid actually honestly being happy. I'm willing to bet that her parents in reality are not that hardcore. Not to say they wouldn't go, what? Not that marriage is hell of a long ways off for this girl.
Yes.
Especially after if this is her first love and her first love, zaps her in the back of the head and knocks her out and throws her in prison.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying, because there have been other things in this book in the past that you could see them easily going down a road and they don't. Julia Wilson has chosen not to. Like when they go to see the Imam, she just knows she's going to get chewed out for the whole boy
Oh,
thing.
I
And whatnot.
know.
And he ends up being this
awesome.
He's this very relaxed, very laid back, which, like I said, to me was a surprise because it would have been so easy for him to be that stereotypical, the hammer kind of a thing.
Right.
So I don't know, but anyway,
We'll see.
I thought that was the only interesting part of the book for me. This doesn't interest me a whole lot, and maybe it's just the fact I'm not interested in puppy love. I don't know. The whole Inhuman versus Inhuman thing, I'm not particularly interested in either. And we're going to get more of that because she is an Inhuman, so there's going to be some of that in there. We do know that Kamala, coming out the other side of Secret Wars, there's going to be the all-new Avengers. She's in it.
Huh.
She's in the all-new Avengers. And the all-new Avengers is almost all younger, newer heroes. That's why that's the version of new. It's not new as in it's a new title. It's new as in they're new, I think.
Well, I thought it was new as in they're new people.
Well, but that aspect, so this arc hasn't really interested me as much because of that. I'm not particularly curious about that. So one more issue of this to have this story arc done, and then this drops into Ms. Marvel
Also, End of Days.
End of Days, which the creators have assured us does not mean that there's no Kamala coming out the other end of this, that there's no Ms. Marvel coming out the end of this. It's just it shuts down for Secret Wars.
Okay.
Anything else to say about that?
I have to agree with you that this is not my favorite story arc.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the book as a whole is a constant 5, and this particular arc is a 3.
Okay, yeah, this issue's a 3 for me.
Yeah.
Finally, Secret Identities, issue number 3. What you think?
This is an interesting book. It's turning out to be more interesting than I thought it was going to be.
What's interesting about it?
I like, there's a whole lot of back stuff going on all the time. It's not just, here we are, it's Superman and Wonder Woman and those people and they're at the tower and then they go and fight crime.
Mm-hmm.
It's there's a whole lot of, not just the fact that there's one person in there who is obviously a double agent. Yeah, that'd be that guy. But there's so much backstory. The speedster is a bigamist or a polygamist. We don't even know how many, at least two wives. And there's something going on with the
alien.
Yes, he's got some issues with his humanity or lack thereof or whatever. He's got things going on. And then is she Japanese?
I thought she was an alien too, but
Is she an alien?
yeah.
But anyway, I can't remember her name, but she obviously recognizes some of the people they're taking down.
Well, because her brother is like a head crime boss, and in after hours, she sometimes helps him with his dirty deeds. So now she's suddenly put in a position where she's scooping up people who are directly connected to her brother and his crime stuff.
Exactly. And that's another thing. And then there's the whole I don't remember. Sorry, it's like I can see
Right.
it, but I can't.
So the thing about this
Name
one,
it.
and with being called secret identities, the important part, one of the important factors of this is that in this book we get these great full color, 4-color superhero things going on. They fight these people, and it's all the stereotypical, not in a bad way, superhero fight type stuff going on. But the other half of it is all of these people do have these secret identities, and they have secrets. Everybody doesn't know everything about everybody else, with the exception of a couple of them. One of the main people is the daughter of the President of the United States.
She doesn't have a
secret identity, but everybody else does. And so they have these secrets, and some of them are heavy. You could consider somebody who has multiple wives, a thing. You've got this Vesuvius rock guy who anytime somebody thinks they've discovered something about him, he accidentally destroys the information and stuff. So there's a lot of secrets going on, which hence the title of it. So that's the intriguing aspect of it. But it's fun just as a superhero comic when they actually fight
when they do the superhero stuff. Punchline, and she's making all those silly jokes. Punchline, is that right?
Yeah.
And Punchline is fun because punch, haha. Anyway, so you've got their dynamic is interesting, and what they're doing, like they're unraveling a mystery about this person that's on fire that shows up at the beginning and says, "I'm the example," and they spend the whole issue, unraveling the mystery of that. Where did that person come from?
Right.
Who are they? And so that part's interesting too.
Art's really good.
Yeah, the art is
because
really
it's
good.
straight up, like I said, 4-color superhero art.
I have a question about the last page, and I should have asked you maybe before we started reviewing.
The last page. What about it?
The person floating in the background, is that really a person floating in the background listening to them? Or what's going on there? And they can't see him?
Yes. He's
Okay.
tied to a chair. He's like up on something. He is the guy he captures. Because Whirlwind, the character on the cover here is like a double agent. He's a bad guy. Clearly, he's a bad guy, faking that he's a hero. His whole goal is to try and find out who all the other heroes are and
Right.
destroy them. That's how they're going to destroy them. Well, he catches that crime guy because clearly when the girl the girl that does the Japanese kung fu stuff and whatnot,
Right.
when she encounters him, she changes colors like a mood ring almost. And he realizes that she's off-put, that she's acting strange. So after everybody's gone, he scoops that guy up. That guy, if you look closely, both of his eyes are taped over, his mouth is taped over, he's tied to a chair. And it looks kind of like he's floating, but he's actually sitting up like a stage that's behind them.
Okay, thank you.
And that's why then he's going, I captured this guy and we're going to use him. Because clearly he knows something about her, and that's going to be their leverage
Gotcha.
to get to him.
Thank you, because somehow I got the fact that we're going to use him, but I just didn't
Right,
catch.
see the close-up panel here?
Oh,
Can you see?
yeah. Okay, yeah.
He's got tape over his eyes.
And the tape to me almost looked like a mask.
Yes, he's got tape. He's got tape
because
over
it comes down
Sure.
it comes to an angle at
Well,
either
they're
end.
weird. They're not like, it's not like uniform. It's like one glosh of tape here, a glosh of tape there, and a glosh of tape across his mouth. And there he is tied at the back end. Our hero villain is dialoguing.
Monologuing.
Whatever, monologuing.
Anyway, okay, thank you. That was the one thing that I was just kind of unsure about what was going on
Sure.
at the end.
But no, I mean, it's a cool comic. I mean,
Yeah, it's very
there's
dynamic and well drawn.
there's our
And the
example.
panels are
like,
awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. A superhero comic that isn't tied down to any continuity. It isn't tied down to
There's no
the
canon
big
that
two.
they have to obey.
Well, there's no franchise heroes they have to worry about treating in a particular way. So you're reading it to see what's going to happen. And the other cool thing is these heroes aren't like. Is analog? Is that the word I want to use? They're not like. It's not like one character is the equivalent of Batman, one character is the equivalent of Superman.
Sure. No, not at all. They do have a speedster, but that's not like a totally
Right.
unheard of thing.
Right. But I'm just saying is they aren't like, you know, and they don't fit the roles. I mean, the guy that's a speedster does not fit the role of Wally West or Barry Allen or any of those,
No, he's
or
not
any of the Flashes.
jokey.
Right. So
know,
that's what I'm
and
saying is they
some
don't
of
follow those
Right.
those things. So it's pleasant in all that way. You don't look at the character and immediately go, oh, he's the Superman character because he's the Boy Scout or whatever, and then this is the dark and brooding guy, so clearly he's the
He's
Batman
the Batman
guy.
in the group.
Yeah, no, it's not that.
That's
so,
true.
which is cool too.
Yes, and also, oh crap, I forgot what I was going to say. But I just like the fact that they are very human, in spite of the fact that they are mostly not.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
Anything else to say about it?
Nope.
I enjoy it. If you're looking for a superhero book, not tied anything else, this is only issue 3. Shouldn't be too hard to go back
I know,
and
it
get.
should be pretty easy
Should
to
be
jump
easy
on.
to catch those other ones. I would think just a couple issues. If you don't want, to
And
catch
they
up.
have one of the most fun headquarters ever.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like I said, if you like the superhero genre, and especially if you're like me, you're kind of getting fatigued with the whole event and stuff that goes on in some of the corporate comics and whatnot, this is free of those things. So might be something to check out. I give this issue a very solid 3.5.
No, I was going to give it a 4.
Okay, there you go.
4 from me.
That's it. And there won't be a Monster Comics review next week, not because will be lazy or too busy like last week and just not do it, because this coming week I do not have any superhero comics at all.
For the
Zero.
first time in how
Ever.
long? Since you started collecting comics again.
I don't think there's ever been a time
Yeah,
when I've
that's
gone and
true.
bought comics and there haven't been superhero comics.
Yeah, that's true.
So in the 30 plus years off and on buying comic books, this will be the first week that I literally will not have a single superhero comic in my pile.
So it's all no capes.
All no capes. Which means it'll be twice as long and no one will watch. Anyway.
We do too.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.